Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, BULLBOYKENNELS. Don't know if it's going to be a short video or a little bit long, but either way, we're going to get into a little something. So I know some of y'all are Unifi, Ubiquiti users, and you're also gamers. So this is more for the PS5, but it does kind of translate over to other devices, especially when you're using isolated networks and VLANs. So what I mean by that, so I have all my networks set up on individual VLANs. So like my default network, I have on one VLAN, then my IoT network is on a separate VLAN. Now, my computer stays on my main network. My PS5, however, I have it on my IoT network. Now, my IoT network is isolated, so can't really communicate with anything unless I allow certain things. So what we're going to do, and I just like to do it this way, just a little bit easier. So when you're in that zone-based firewall, go into overview. Once you're in overview, you want to go down to where it says network list. So in network list, you're going to create 2 items. Now you want to make sure your computer and your PS5 are both on static IPs. So you don't want the IPs to be changing. So you're going to go ahead and click create. Once you click create, give it a name. I named mine's PS5. And then, of course, the internal IP address that I'm using for my PS5. So if you see before the last 2 numbers, it ends in 50, 50 being my IoT network. So now I got my PS5 created. Then we're going to do the same thing for our computer. So I'm using my Mac Studio. That one is on my main VLAN, which is 10. And then I have the IP that's static for that as well. So once we got those 2 set up, and again, that is in the network list under overview when you're signed into your Unifi dashboard. All right, so we're going to go from there. Now we're going to head on over to zones. And then in zones, you can kind of see where things are at. So again, my main computer is on internal. So the only thing I have on internal is my main devices and my server. And then I have my IoT network, which again, as I said, that is isolated. So that has all my, Apple TV, smart TVs, televisions, my PlayStation, all that stuff. So that's pretty much what's on there. So what we want to do is we want to go down to where it says IoT, which is the network that my PS5 is on. Once we go to the IoT part on internal, under the internal column, we're going to create a new policy. Now, I've already done this, but I'll show you mine's just so you can see. So when I created mine's, so again, you just click create new policy, give it a name. So mine's, I just call it allow PS5 to Mac Studio. Now we want to select our zone. So whatever zone, you put your PS5 on, you're going to select that zone. And then we're going to select IP. And then right below that, we're going to select list. From that list, you'll see, your PS5 that we created previously, which was under the overview section under, I forget what that was, but it was from the overview section that we created our PS5 and also our computer, which, as I stated previously, mine is called Mac Studio. But for this, we're going to select PS5 because that's what we want. We're going to select port any You can specify a list if you want, but then you have to create that role. But for now, I'm just doing any. The action is going to be allow, and then allow all return traffic. Just make sure that is checked. And then for destination, since our main computer is on my internal, yours could be named differently. So just make sure whatever yours is named, that's where you want your destination to be. So since mine is internal, again, I'm not going to select any or network. I am going to select IP, and then I'm going to select lists. And then from that list, I will pick my computer, which for me was my Mac Studio that I set up under the overview section. Once I have that selected, again, port is any. So I'm just pretty much leaving everything at default. And then we should already have that under our allow PS5 to Mac Studio, which for you could just be allow PlayStation to whatever your computer is. Now, under my Wi-Fi, I have two. Well, I have more than that, but I only keep two on here. So before, my PS5 was on IoT, which I would have to select that to be able to connect to my computer, but that was only through Wi-Fi. And I'd rather just stay on my main Wi-Fi connection, even though I'm using my wired connection. But this is just so for illustration purposes. So don't really worry about this, because I am connected hardwired to my device. So we already have the PlayStation Remote Play app open, which is right here. And now I can go ahead and select my device. You may have to go through the initial setup process when you do this, but once you do, you should be able to pick your device. Now, it will take a little time to connect, so I'm going to go ahead and select mine. So right now it just says, searching for connections nearby. So we'll give that a moment. And now, as you can see, it says searching for connections via the internet, which is fine. Again, we'll give that a moment. And now it's pairing with my PS5. So pretty much right after that, it should get ready to connect. And again, this is because I'm going through VLANs. So it's the only reason why it takes a little bit longer, but either way, now I can just go ahead and connect my PlayStation 5 controller. And as you can see, now I do have access to play my PS5 through Inter Vlan to my main computer on my main home network. So again, my PS5 is on one VLAN and my computer is on a different VLAN. And as you can see, I can connect to both of them using the zone-based routing on the Unifi, routing policies. Now, I am using a Dream Machine, but that should work with pretty much most of their devices, as long as they're using the zone-based firewall rules. And at least that way you can go ahead and play your your PlayStation in a different location on a different VLAN. Anyways, I hope that helped you out. If it did, just go ahead, thumb up the video. If it didn't, well, you know what to do. And if you want to leave a comment, it's more than well appreciated. Other than that, hey, it's been your boy BULLBOYKENNELS, and as always, keep them scratching. Peace. We up out of here, and enjoy your gaming.